Hey y'all, hey. Thank you for clicking on my video. If you clicked it, that means you already know what we're about to make. So if you want to learn how to make this Jamaican brown stew chicken, keep watching.
Them all are playing. If money gon' give me respect, and the youngie gon' get to the bag. Clowning this shit and claiming that they spend a check on the shirt when it still got the tag. Rags and bags and houses, I want them bigger. That's something I already have. Sparing you bitches that wanna take it to the gram. Now it's clear I'll be having y'all mad.
Hey y'all, so as stated before, we are making Jamaican brown stew chicken. So what we're gonna do is start off with some freshly cleaned chicken. It doesn't matter what kind of chicken you have. You can use chicken thighs, chicken breasts, chicken wings, drumsticks. You can mix them all together if you like. So yeah, we're just gonna start seasoning them. Depending on how much chicken you have, the recipe will vary, so feel free to add or take away as please. I started off with Caribbean all-purpose seasoning, a tablespoon of adobo, a tablespoon of chicken seasoning. I also use Nashville hot chicken seasoning, cayenne pepper, paprika, garlic powder, Cajun seasoning, Sazon, and onion powder. Also, I know I said a tablespoon, but I honestly just season it until my ancestors tell me to stop. So season to your liking. Start off with a tablespoon, and while it's cooking, you can check the juice and see if it needs more seasoning or if it doesn't. Now we're just gonna go ahead and mix that in real good. Now next, I took some thyme leaves and I removed the smaller stems from the bigger stem and just threw them all in there for more flavor. You can remove all of the stems if you like, but I left them on. Now we are going to chop up all of our vegetables, and we are using orange bell pepper, yellow bell pepper, red bell pepper, green bell pepper, so all of the bell peppers, white onion, fresh garlic, green onions. This is a frozen Scotch bonnet, and 2 red chili peppers. And I added those because I was afraid that the Scotch bonnet wasn't going to be hot enough, and I was right. Next, just pour it in the bowl and add in your browning. This is a big factor in the chicken, hence brown stew chicken. So make sure you have your browning. Use whatever brand you have. Just make sure you use your brownie. That a good mix and let it marinate. You can leave it overnight. You can leave it for a couple of hours, but just know the longer the better. Now we are going to take our Dutch oven. It's better to have a steep skillet or a pot that you can get a good sear on, because we are going to sear the chicken. We are going to brown it first. So pour whatever grease you have on hand. I use extra virgin olive oil. Let that grease get hot. Then place your chicken in and let it sear until it is brown on both sides. after a couple minutes, this is what one side is looking like. Now we're just going to go ahead and flip the rest of them over so that they can finish searing. Right here, what I'm doing is removing these ones out of the skillet so that I can add more. I did not want to overly crowd it, so I just did it in batches. But if you only have one batch, go ahead and skip this part. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the other batch of chicken in. I let it cook for a little bit, untouched, without mixing it together. Then I mix it together so that way that it don't stick to the bottom of the pan. And as you can see, it's kind of making its own liquid. I promise you, it's not grease. It's making its own liquid. So I just put the top on it for a little bit and let it cook. So after about 7 to 10 minutes, I went to check on it, and this is what it's looking like. As you can see, it is making its own broth. Depending on how much chicken you have in there, it might make a lot of broth to the point where you don't have to add any liquid at all. So right here, I'm just mixing it up, making sure it's not sticking to the bottom of the pan. My stove setting was set to medium to high. I have numbers on my stove, so on my stove it was a 5 or a 6. So I actually let it cook a little bit longer for about 7 to 8 minutes, and then I added my vegetables. And at this point, you can see that it is making its own broth without me adding any type of liquid to it. So again, depending on how much chicken you have in your pot, you might have a lot of liquid to the point where you don't have to add any at all. Okay, now we are adding in all of our vegetables. As you can see, I added in more peppers You can skip that part if you don't like it really spicy, but in this household, we love it spicy. Next, don't yuck it, but you're going to add in about a tablespoon of ketchup. You can use brown sugar or ketchup, but I prefer ketchup. Give it all a good mix. So this is what our broth is looking like. You can either go ahead and let it keep cooking to make its own broth, or you can do like I did and add chicken broth. Now, people particularly use water, but I'm different, and I added non-sodium chicken broth for more flavor. And I used the whole can. Now what you want to do is go ahead and give that a good mix, and we're going to put the lid back on it and let it keep cooking. I also did not change the temperature on the stove at all, so it is still at a 5 or a 6. So it's been about 10 minutes. This is what it's given. It's pretty much done at this point. As you can see, I know y'all see them shreds of meats in there. Like, that's what I want to see. That's what you should see when you open that pot. You should see shredded meat. You should see the bones off the meat, the bones falling off the meat, all that, if you use bones. So yeah, you're done. You're pretty much done at this point. I went ahead and cooked it for like 5 more minutes. Also, if your liquid is too thin for you, go ahead and add your cornstarch slurry, which is equal parts cornstarch and water. Let it sit with the fire off with the top on, and you're done. You can pair this with coconut rice, regular white rice, or rice and peas. I paired mine with coconut rice. I added some thyme and green onions to it. I also put some plantains and a little cabbage mix for the aesthetic. And yeah. And there you have it. This is my version of Jamaican brown stew chicken. Thank you for watching my video. As always, tweak the recipes to your liking. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And see you in the next video. Bye.
Cause when I get it started, it's the earthquake. Know that I'm dropping shit, floating with niggas just like Pennywise. Send them red balloons, know that we popping shit.